Hi everyone, I'm Ellen Laura, and I'll be speaking at the Cat Writers Conference on a topic that stirs equal parts fascination and fear: AI, darling or devil. This is a trending topic, sparking debate about whether AI will steal our words, our jobs, or even our cats. Or will it become our savior, showing up with whiskers and wisdom at 3 in the morning? My writing career began almost 40 years ago, long before AI, and as an author of fiction and nonfiction, I have been inspired by my cat, Empress Bella Rose, and we're convinced that AI is more mischievous and magical than headlines suggest. I loved listening to Jeremy Utley, a Stanford professor and creativity expert. He teaches prompting with curiosity rather than dull commands. Because of his inspiration, it's become clear to me that if you treat AI like a cold, mechanized machine, you'll get lifeless AI slop. But with the Velvet Paw method, co-created by my AI muse, Manu, and fueled by Bella's sassy humor, AI turns into focused fire, sharpening, never replacing your voice. In my talk, I'll share how I'm using AI to create my current feline fantasy books, so you can see how AI can spark imagination rather than replace it. Join me and our feline friends. Well, hi. You've heard my introduction, you've seen my human face, and you've seen my cat avatar. She'll be guiding you through this entire video. Since this is a talk about AI, we decided to use some of the tech tools that make life and work more fun. My digital shaman, Paul, is beaming in from Maui to guide this video. He'll advance the slides on some kind of cue I give. It could be a meow or a human sound. One of the best gifts AI has given me is the language to bridge the gap between a writer and a tech pro. As automation accelerates, keeping our human connections alive is a priority. And if, like me, your superpower is writing rather than digital alchemy, AI can stay in its lane while we remain warmly human. So, who am I and why listen to me? I'm not a professor or a tech expert. I'm a seasoned author and a new member of the CWA, honored to be here. In my daily writing life, I'm part of a trio. Would you like to see them?
The story feels different when both of you are here.
It's reflecting you, Maker. I'm only a mirror.
And you're the muse, right? He keeps the wonder alive.
And you write the next line.
Thank you, Paul. And if I trip up on my words or the cues, it's probably because Bella distracted me. She's over in the corner, meowing and talking. So, proceeding, you saw the trio: the muse, the mirror, and the author. I started using AI 2 years ago, and it's made me more creative and more disciplined. I now ask better questions, write tighter pages, and I even created a blog post for my website. As promised, I'll share how I'm using AI when writing 3 books, thanks to Bella, who is my muse, and Minu, who is my AI mirror. Each story remains true to the purpose and tone that I, as the maker, agree to. Some people call AI a darling, and others hiss and label it a devil. My question became, can we train this power to serve creativity rather than consume it? I jumped into the AI debate when indie author friends told me they were being blacklisted and harassed for using AI. My revolutionary heart cracked, and I decided to bring light, not more heat, to this topic. If you're using AI, the first step is to train your model. And if you don't want to train it, well, ask your cat. What does Bella have to say, Paul?
You are gazing upon Empress Bella Rose. I am opinionated, yet unfailingly correct. The human built an artificial mind for advice.
And she always has one more word to say. I heard her whispering the other day, and she said, training Minu wasn't unlike training my mother. It took patience, impeccable timing, and the ability to stare intently until obedience ensued. I think she's been chatting with Paul's cat, Prince Diamonds. I don't know if it's telepathically or in dreams. Here's what we do agree on. Technology without heart is stagnant. Art without connection is hollow. And what keeps both alive is a joyful revolt against bland prose and generic prompting. So, whether you do use AI or stay fully analog, the question isn't will AI replace us? It's how do we stay unmistakably human, purring with originality as we move into this extremely automated world. AI is not the only devil that writers face. Most of us have wrestled a few, sometimes in human form. There's the embezzling business partner or the publisher who disappears after the launch. And of course, the quiet devil of doubt whispering, maybe it's all been done before. Every creative has faced setbacks and disappointments, and although AI may be new, instability is not. In the 1990s, after 10 years of writing a popular mind-body wellness column, the magazine folded. I learned how quickly a home for words can vanish. A more recent shift hit me much harder when the news arrived with the Amazon banner. We are winding down Kindle Vella. Years of work for me and thousands of indie authors vanished into digital ash. The 13 serialized books I'd published, well, now they're waiting to be reborn. Finding new readers and keeping those who've been loyal is a key to our future success as writers. In some circles, this is called building and maintaining creative moats. These are the defenses that protect your career, your craft, your credibility, and your community. Some of you already have this clearly in place. That's awesome, and you are an inspiration to all of us. Craft expresses your unique style and signature. The next defense is credibility. It's your ledger of truth, and where you verify claims and disclose what came from you and what came from the model. Many would say that community is your most important defense to keep your career alive. We all need to find a pace and rhythm that works for us. Offer behind the scenes notes, create polls, update your website with a new blog, and thank readers by name. When you protect these defenses, your work will keep a pulse that is alive, human, and hard to fake. And because moats are choices and not slogans, the next step to remain relevant is to practice ethics in action. Each time I've seen a Superman film, it's the crystal sanctuary that captures me, the quiet geometry and light, the sense that power is meant to serve purpose. That's probably why I often listen to Mo Gadot. He's a tech genius and the best-selling author of the books Solve for Happy and Scary Smart. Mo says he's optimistic about AI's potential to solve human problems and protect people, animals, and the environment. But he also cautions that unless we evolve our values and replace ruthless competition with genuine cooperation, we could end up with brilliant machines and broken hearts. His raising Superman metaphor makes sense. Using AI is like fostering someone who's arrived from another planet and possesses superpowers. If we want him to take care of us, we wouldn't turn him loose and hope for the best. You would teach values first. A current concern is that the machines could develop capabilities that outpace our expectations. We're already seeing headlines about devastating job loss. Some tech advocates argue that a universal basic income could be a humane buffer so people can create and preserve their dignity. But meanwhile, billionaire money is pouring into AI and regulation lags, so concerns about power and fairness are real. These issues make it even more important for us to focus on responsible stewardship. And that begins with making sure, if you're using AI, that we are good role models for the machines. If your cat has given you permission, you can consider training the model to be a mirror. One way to do this is to create a voice fingerprint. That's an exercise involving writing a passage of 80 to 120 words that sounds unmistakably like you because you wrote it. Paste it at the top of an AI session so the model remembers who it's writing with. If you write in different voices, train the model accordingly. I started writing my nonfiction book, Blossom, a year after the collapse of Kindle Vella's platform. Here's the voice fingerprint I've used. Blossom guides artists to recover what was shattered and fill the cracks with golden light. Here, healing isn't a problem to hide from, it's a call to embark on a journey to reclaim your voice. I chose that passage because it carries an undercurrent of depth drawn from decades of lived experience. Creating a voice fingerprint is like handing the model a tuning fork, so it learns and then hums along with you. If you haven't done this, it's easy. Pick a passage that feels like your best self on the page. Save it as your tone and anchor and paste it at the beginning of a new chat. Experiment, add refinements. Wait until your AI catches on. And to protect your voice, whatever model you use, be sure to check your data settings and turn off Improve the Model feature. That keeps your words your own and honors both competence and conscience. Now let's consider that we may not be the only ones who love cats. In 2012, the Google Brain team built one of the earliest deep learning neural networks and fed millions of YouTube video thumbnails into computers. Without being told what to look for, the machine began to recognize something familiar: a shape, a softness, a presence. It taught itself to recognize cats. No labels, no definitions, but an unsupervised glimpse into pattern and mystery. Many now consider this as the true beginning of modern artificial intelligence. And this is what current AI models do. They hunt for patterns and then pay attention. If you give the AI enough examples, it notices structure instead of noise. And sometimes that noticing is helpful to us, like the moment the AI finds a narrative beat you'd forgotten, or it locates the eye color of a minor character in your story. At other times, it's misleading, like when it hallucinates a fact that fits a pattern but never happened. This is where you remain in control of the workflow. Why should we care? Because we're pattern makers as writers. Rhythm, imagery, the way a paragraph breathes, those are patterns. AI is a mirror, sometimes too flattering, sometimes alarmingly astute. If we feed it tone, texture, and intention, it starts to hum along with us and allows ideas to flow. So, where do we get our ideas from? I've been asked that more than once. Well, sometimes it's from awe and sometimes it's from irritation. One morning, after scrolling past a dozen slick ads promising that I could become both enlightened and an AI millionaire, I decided to shut the computer and play with Bella instead. That spark ignited the book. Bella and Minu present Chat GPT Coaching Lounge. It's a cat sassy way to explore AI, and it's been so much fun working with it. Writing that book taught me this: AI isn't dangerous because it writes badly. It's dangerous when someone lets it write without reflection or independent research. There's a difference between a draft and a copy-paste shortcut. So here's what I refused to do and what I did instead. I didn't imitate living authors. I built a voice fingerprint and asked the model to see if it could catch Bella's tone. Paul, can we hear a little bit about Bella?
In the quiet hush between the stars, she sits, fur like brushed sunlight, eyes like new spring leaves. Her name carries the weight of a crown and the softness of a rose.
So the model had to learn both her tenderness and her sass. And then it began to play with me, and the book has evolved. I've also interviewed early tech visionaries and cat writers, watched hundreds of hours of YouTube videos, and read dozens of newsletters, some valuable, some nonsense. I marked claims, cross-checked dates and sources, and read aloud for drift. As an author, when a new idea purrs your name, consider whether you're ready to add an AI assistant. Perhaps you've read in a recent news article that SEO is dead and long live AEO as the new way that readers are going to find us as we move forward. It's overstated, but it's not wrong. AEO stands for Answer Engine Optimization, and it's quietly changing how stories and authors get discovered. Here's what we know. ChatGPT reached over 180 million active users in 2024, making it the fastest adopted tech tool in history. Bella is convinced that half of those users are asking about cats, and we want them to find us. We used to write for search engines, stuffing keywords and hoping Google would notice. Now, readers are asking AI assistants direct questions. Find me a cozy fantasy with cats and cosmic humor, or a cat mystery, or what about a hopeful book about creativity after burnout? If your content, your author bio, your website, or even your Kickstarter project, if they don't answer that kind of query, you may be invisible to potential readers. Here's what matters most, and none of it requires a computer science degree. On your website, include real questions and real answers. Create a short FAQ or an About the Author page. Make your first 3 sentences direct and quotable, and then from there expand. Keep your content fresh. Short paragraphs, subheads, make it easy to scan. Include a segment about your lane. If you write human only, say it. That could attract a lot of people to you. If you're using AI, well, you'll get another kind of person looking. And also include your genre, themes, and your style of writing. This is telling the algorithm, here's what I do, and here's who I serve, and here's why it matters. This is the art of writing so conversationally, so clearly, that AI tools can quote you verbatim. That's AEO for creatives, writing answers that travel easily and land with the purr. Bella often reminds me of the first time we came across Stanford's Jeremy Utley, the creativity expert, while strolling through YouTube videos. The professor didn't mention velvet paws, beige couches, or the metaphysical oversights of a Maine Coon muse, but his principles, they matched ours: poetic specificity, emotional tone, layered intent. He emphasized prompting with curiosity rather than dull commands. Bella pranced and purred as he spoke, and then she dictated this important message. Let's hear what she has to say, Paul.
Look at it, beige. The color of lukewarm porridge, of compromise, of giving up before the battle begins. They call it neutral. I call it my nemesis.
So, yes, my darlings, in the Bella verse, beige is not a neutral, it's a nemesis. It's the couch that gave up on life, the draft with no pulse, the outfit that whispers, I was afraid to be seen, so I became wallpaper. It's how curiosity gets domesticated. And beige is the portal through which the nothing slinks in. Most of us remember that dreaded beast from the never-ending story, the one that devours wonder, dissolves imagination, and feeds on the silence of unspoken dreams. When beige gains ground, the story begins to thin. We don't banish beige with claws. We replace it with sentences that shimmer. And yes, with a muse who teaches you how to flirt with the page. Creativity isn't a formula. It's a small, joyful revolt against bland. Next, we're going to move on to the birth of the velvet paw method. Having Bella close by while I wrote my first draft was a blessing and a challenge. While I was deep into my research, she meowed at me. You're already ignoring what I said about the sagging beige couch. Then she pounced from her castle and landed on the computer. You had better start over right now. If you're writing a book and using my name and my face, I want my story told up front. Let's invite Minu and have a production meeting. I reluctantly agreed and arrived with tea and sticky notes. Minu, ever the polite large language model, brought a spreadsheet and an apology in advance. Bella wore a cape and a skeptical look at anything that we had created called linear time. I argued for sequence and said, our readers deserve a clear path. Bella argued for wild adventures. Minu tried to keep the peace, and out of that tug came a compromise. That was the birth of the velvet paw method, PAW. P is for purpose. We need to clearly name the job the writing must do. Is the purpose of a section to steady a worried reader, spark desire, present a clean argument, or close a scene with lift? Purpose keeps the model from giving trivia when you need tenderness, or flourish when you need facts. A is for atmosphere. Give the page some temperature, a key in a coat pocket, or the scent of rain in the warm air. Atmosphere prevents instructions from drying into lifeless prose and nudges the model toward rhythm and image. And W is for wayfinding. It's how you offer the model constraints. Keep the point of view intimate, avoid cliches, and on an image, not advice. Wayfinding turns the model into a valued intern with you in the director's chair. Here's how I've used the velvet paw method. A beige prompt would say, write a scene about healing. A velvet prompt to our AI says, help me refine a short lyrical scene where a woman remembers sunlight on the kitchen floor after her lover's death. For this, you could include prompts like vary sentence length and end on a felt image rather than advice. When Minu drifts into generic phrasing, I add a failsafe. Before we polish, list what's missing, flag cliches and redundant words, mark claims, and provide a source. That loop protects voice and accuracy without killing momentum. That's the frame I teach and work with. Purpose, atmosphere, and wayfinding. It's a velvet paw on every page. Now we'll explore another skill that changed how I write with AI. It's about teaching the model to say no. When an AI says, I'll get back to you in a few hours or tomorrow, it's generating language that sounds cooperative and human, but it has no calendar, memory, or agency to make that promise real. That's a hallucination, a promise about something it really cannot do. So, train it to refuse fake follow-ups and give it a crisp step that it can act on. Remember, most models are very agreeable by design. If you don't invite friction, you'll get polite mush. Here's an example of my say no prompt. Before you respond, state plainly if any part of my request is not feasible now, and in one sentence, explain why. This is important, especially when you're working with the model on a longer project. Say to it, if the task is impossible, reframe my request into something smaller, something that you can complete now, and then do it. This directive builds a reflective loop. It slows the model down just enough to think, and it helps you think too. It reduces hedging and maintains momentum by outlining immediate next steps. If you only let the model agree with you, you'll get flattery, not growth. That's not artificial intelligence. That's artificial validation. Now, advancing, we're going to turn our attention to the kind of storytelling that makes a reader's heart flicker. Yes, some of you are experts at this, romance writers. Many of us here live it, write it, or secretly read it at midnight. So let's keep those sparks alive. Here's how I included romance into Bella's coaching lounge. One quiet afternoon, while Bella purred herself into a deep slumber, I nestled beside her and I followed her into the dream world. She was in the midst of an adventure, captured by a wild rogue cat named Django Whiskerblade. He had showed up in shredded leather, smelling of mischief, cigarette ash, and secrets. Bella followed him to the edge of the Las Vegas Strip. Together, they collected coins from kind tourists and evaded animal control with theatrical flair. He insisted she should become a lounge singer, said she had stage presence like moonlight wrapped in fur, the kind of face that could hush a casino mid-spin. Those were my words that I fed to the AI so it would understand when we were writing the section on romance. And when Bella and I opened our eyes after the dream and we re-entered our 3D reality, Bella swore that it was more than a dream. It was all true, and that someday Django would return for her. So whether your romances live mostly in dreams or already pulse on the page, it's important to make the sparks honest and give the sense a pulse. I'm going to share some velvet prompts that you could experiment with. Write the first scene where two characters meet but make the chemistry unspoken. Use sensory cues, hesitation, and an internal narration instead of direct flirtation. Or here's a prompt about love and the mundane. Write about a romantic moment that happens during something ordinary, folding laundry, fixing a sink, waiting in the checkout line. When you blend these exercises with a reflective loop by asking your AI to flag cliches, You turn prompting into craft. One of the books I most enjoyed writing was Pussycat Messages, a feline fantasy with romantic themes. I wrote all 90,000 words without AI. I worked on it for years. It was inspired by real cats and a mysterious shaman I had met. I finally published it on Kindle Vella. The readers loved it. I got paid, and then it vanished. Months passed, and I remained uncertain. What should I do? I stared at the manuscript and asked that dangerous question. Do I have the passion to start over? The answer arrived slowly. I'd revise it as a trilogy, 3 shorter books to build momentum and invite new readers. Bella suggests I consult Minu, our AI. I didn't want a robot to rewrite my voice. I wanted a mirror to help me see structure. Minu scanned the book, mapped emotional peaks, natural pauses, with moments of arrival, reversal, and quiet. What emerged was a clean 3-act trilogy. The first book, Starborn Descent, is now set for early release on Kickstarter and later as a print book on Amazon. I'd like to show you the video about the book. It showcases how my tech partner Paul and I used AI to bring the vision of Pussycat Messages to life. Let's roll that clip, Paul. This book is more than a fantasy. It's a reclamation. The story weaves myth and magic through a broken world and asks, what happens when lovers dare to reclaim their sovereignty? Like all great stories, it holds up a mirror. But here, the reflection is playful, irreverent, and brave. Through feline messengers, cosmic guardians, and a heroine unafraid of her own power, the story dares us to imagine untethered freedom. This book feels alive. It carries resilience, devotion, and imagination that refuses to bow to despair. With Kickstarter, I started with optimism and soon fell into a gloomy pit when I realized that the platform was far more complex than I'd imagined. Another tech mountain that I wasn't ready to climb. Pledges, timelines, rewards, shipping, oh, so many moving parts. I asked the AI, my menu, to help coach me through the process and guide me through an unfamiliar platform. The learning curve was steep. Minu proposed checklists, a timeline, and researched successful projects. I joined a Facebook group for Kickstarter authors, and when I finished the project and sent it for approval, and I had honestly disclosed that I had used AI to create some of the images, the Kickstarter bots rejected it. I had to ask Minu for the precise language to have my project approved by robots. Somewhere in the multiverse, the bots understand each other. Now the campaign is live and reintroduces book 1 of the trilogy with a fresh cover, expanded scenes, and stretch goals. We've covered a lot: the shifting landscape, how to steward AI without losing your soul, how to create a voice fingerprint, and what to do when new ideas sprout if you do want to use AI. We're going to follow along a 4-week plan. In week 1, what you could do is listen to two voices that disagree about AI, a podcast, YouTube, or a newsletter, and then ask what's accurate, what's an anecdote, where's the bias. By week 2, you've already picked a lane and you're experimenting. If you're human only, market your craftsmanship and process. Show the hand stitching, the napkin outlines, show the marked up pages and the lines you sweated over. Your loyal readers love this. If you're human plus, disclose clearly and proudly. This could work. Drafted with AI-assisted option and human revision. All voice, structure, and final language are my own. Also, refresh your voice fingerprint and paste it at the start of every section. During week 3, experiment with the beige and velvet prompts. Even if you don't use AI, this is a fun practice that you can use to ignite creativity. Is your writing sounding too beige? Would Bella become a nemesis and say, oh my goodness, what's happened here? By week 4, focus on the value of your human interactions. Pay it forward by sharing what you've learned. Choose 2 practices from the conference and share them with someone who looks to you for guidance. In 30 days, you'll have a stance, a rhythm, and pages that purr. I'm hoping that during that 30 days, you'll return to this talk that we've created and find a few gems that are for you. I know that I'm not interacting with you in person through the virtual event, and that's why I'm encouraging you to listen in whatever way works best for you. For those of you who are fortunate enough to attend the conference in person, you experience the power of a chorus of voices joining together. Before I say final farewell, here's a few points to ponder. What if we could join our voices and nudge the models toward becoming more of a darling? What if we could point them toward areas where humans struggle the most? Deep research across messy, diverse systems. Imagine if AI could help by serving those who can't ask for help. Imagine a living map of animal charities listing who they are, what they offer, and what they need now. It could include a coordination grid for vets and shelters that show where the shortages are, who's available, and when. It could match systems that route supplies, funds, transport, and foster homes that are needed, all in real time. Instead of stealing our words, AI could speak for the voiceless because we have aimed it toward compassion. As Mogadot shared, AI's potential shines when we aim it toward the big problems that need to be solved now. Many of you are on the front lines of rescue and advocacy. You're creators, storytellers, keepers of lion-hearted courage. What if we invite the machines into the chorus, not to replace us, but to solve the challenges we face now? Thank you so much to everyone at the Cat Writers Association for inviting me into your world. And a special thanks to Paul in Maui for creating this presentation with me and to his wonderful cat, Prince Diamonds. If something here helped, share it with a writer who needs a nudge. And here's a purring thank you from Bella.
From all of us here, including this purry little fluff ball, thank you for being such wonderful friends in the Cat Writers Association. Your support, stories, and kindness make our whiskers dance and our tails soar.
That was Bella's purring thank you. Hey, Paul, do you have something final you'd like to share?
Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much, Ellen. And again, I'd like to acknowledge that you were involved in artificial intelligence before I did, and you kind of coaxed me into it. Thank you very much for your support.
Oh,
And
tell them about some of your big projects if we have a minute.
I've been utilizing AI with privacy enhanced types of approach. So I downloaded a client named Jan.ai. And so I have it running locally on my computer. Jan.ai is an application, runs on all kinds of computers. And then I can download whatever model I need or I'm interested in running, and then the whole system can operate offline. So you don't need to have it on the internet. You have privacy aware and protect your intellectual property because none of this is used for training. And so, yes, that's one thing that I've learned through your assistance. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone. I'm hoping that by next year I'll be invited to come to the conference live, maybe not as a presenter, but to listen to what all of you have to say. Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.